Wherever we are connected to the sea. The ocean provides us with the oxygen we breathe and the climate that sustains us. We need a healthy ocean for our own survival. Plastic pollution is killing wildlife, devastating oceans, and threatening the health of our planet. Plastic represents a disconnection. It's a material designed to last forever that we often use only once. Poorly managed plastic leaks into the sea. The ocean is downhill from everywhere. The recent COVID-19 pandemic has led to an increased demand for single-use plastic, intensifying pressure on this already out-of-control problem. This work shows that more than 8 million tons of pandemic-associated plastic waste have been generated globally, with more than 25,000 tons entering the global ocean. The surging number of inpatient and virus testing substantially increased the amount of plastic medical waste. To sustain the enormous demand for personal protective equipment, PPE including face masks, gloves and face shield, many single-use plastic SUP legislation have been withdrawn or postponed. In addition, lockdown, social distancing and restriction on public gathering increased the dependency on online shopping at an unprecedented speed, the packaging material of which often contain plastics. The released plastic can be transported over long distances in the ocean, encounter marine wildlife and potentially lead to injury or even death. For example, a recent report estimated that a 1.56 million face masks entered the oceans in 2020, while in August 2021, the total excess MMPW generated during the pandemic is calculated as 4.4 to 15.1 million tons. This poses a long-lasting problem for the ocean environment and is mainly accumulated on beaches and coastal sediments.
Before COVID-19 hit, it kind of felt like the world was waking up to the harm of plastic. People were saying no to plastic bags, bottles, and straws. But then coronavirus hit and everything took a sudden turn now as the world tries to protect itself from this deadly virus. Conservationists are now worried about the impact of PPE on the world's ocean. We are now in a place where masks and even plastic gloves have become a regular part of our lives, but what has taken a backseat is the amount of waste generated by the pandemic, and some of it is starting to end up in ocean and coastal areas. So how does PPE waste affect marine life and aquatic ecosystem? Both masks and gloves are likely to pose a threat to marine wildlife. The general white-blue masks and gloves are probably confused by animals like sea turtles and whales as jellyfish, which is their primary food. As we know, most masks have loops for the ears, and that is likely to be an entanglement hazard for fish, sea turtles, and probably for sea birds as well. On top of that, face mask has a long lifespan of about 450 years. Instead of degrading completely, the polymers inside the surgical mask are breaking down into microplastic, easily consumed by marine wildlife and the coral reef. Then, when marine organisms ingest plastic debris, these contaminants enter their digestive system and over time accumulate in the food web. The transfer of contaminants between marine species and humans through consumption of seafood has been identified as a health hazard.
Populations of marine species have fallen dramatically and vast areas of essential habitats have been degraded or destroyed, with implications that only now we are beginning to understand. To ensure a sustainable future, we must protect and preserve healthy marine ecosystems. Now is the time to act. We can make a campaign to create the awareness. The campaign aims to break humanity's addiction to unnecessary and avoidable plastic, nearly 11 million tons of which end up in the ocean annually. Next, the consumer can reduce their use of single-use plastic by using ocean-friendly alternatives. By using this kind of product, it not only helps to clean the water, it's also safer for aquatic life that live in the ocean. Moreover, we also can do volunteering for groups cleanups of rivers and beaches, which helps to reduce the amount of loose plastic that makes its way into the sea. But the only way to truly solve the problem is to dramatically reduce the production of plastic, which means curbing our addiction to it, because most plastic in the ocean, plastic waste will still up hundreds of years or longer. For sure, that is not a legacy we would want to leave for future generations.